Okay, hello everyone. So I've already talked about patch stuff a lot, but I'm currently bored in the middle of Splatfest, and I wanted to go over my actual personal hopes. I've kind of talked about like, what if we go with the idea of not nerfing things too much, and we just try to buff things to get around problems, and I've talked about special reworks, but this is just going to be the changes I want and why. So, goals I have when balancing Splatoon 3 now that we've had it for a while. I think that changes need to increase flow of gameplay evenly on poor designed maps. So basically, even on maps that favor more defensive and campy playstyles, these need to be changes that enable those maps to be played more, even if the maps aren't designed well. Tone back options that control space too well to increase varied strategies. Pretty much every meta has been things that control space too well and promote slow playstyles, so buffing things that would increase a variety of playstyles would help. Decreased potency of HP specials. These have been the main specials that have been good. Big Bubbler, Wave Breaker, Crab Tank, Booyah Bomb have been some of the best specials in the game. The only one to compete with them so far has been Tenta Missiles in terms of being just as good as they are. Add more options and depth to weapons when buffing them. So when buff them, we're trying to give them new things they can do, give them access to new options rather than making them really good at something they already do. Finally, number 5 is keep nerf weapons feeling strong and minimize the amount of nerfs you need to do. And then red text is basic commentary for the changes because I'm not sure I'm going to talk about all this. Specials, Crab. I still believe the main thing Crab needs is less range. I think that the amount of range it has does not work on the map design we currently have in this game, and it walls up for too long. If Crab has less range, it is easier to fight and shred. Outside of that, I wanted to do smaller changes that I think could help out. Rider hitbox slight increase, so it's a bit more consistent to be able to hit the person on the Crab because it's a little bit awkward at times. When the special is broken, it'll have end lag, basically the same as Splat 1 Kraken. This will not happen if the duration runs out normally, but if the special is broken, then it'll be gone. Those are the set scores from Ludi tonight. It was 5-4. It was very close. And then finally, I'd cut down the duration just a little bit, so if Crab is in a situation where it can't really be contested, because even with these changes, there would be some spots where Crab you can't do too much about, so at the very least, it would still be about a second less long. Weebong. Want to do small nerfs to it. The Booyah Bomb armor lingers even when you've already hit the ground. I think it's a little bit too long and it should have a bit more of a punish window, so I'd have it remove a little bit sooner. And then a small nerf reducing the duration. Basically, this is keeping it so you can't just sit holding the Booyah Bomb in the air to prevent a push for too long a period of time. You would only be able to stall for 7 seconds instead of 9 seconds. Tenta Missiles. Decrease the player targets from 4 to 3, prioritizing targets further from you. Further from you because it's mostly supposed to decrease things like backlines potency. Those are the main things it's supposed to displace. So I believe that would be something that would be important, and it also gets rid of team-wide displacement. Thank you for the wrong correct Google. Get going. Okay. Wavebreaker. Yes, there is a healing glitch. Right now, if you take damage and you jump above a wavebreaker, even a wavebreaker that can't actually hit you, like one under the height limit, it prevents healing for about 1 second. I don't know why it does that. It's a glitch. It also happens with big shot cannons. It's in the single player, so that needs to go. Wavebreaker is a bit too large a radius in some maps, especially the smaller ones. It means it can be placed way too safely. So this is a very small nerf, mainly because the maximum effective special power will be unchanged, so this can be mitigated quite easily, but it's just a little bit of a tone back. Triple Strike. I have decided that screw it. I think Squid Form is okay if you are slower, like with Trizuka. So if you pop it and you swim around, you are much slower. It's the Trizuka movement penalty. It's very similar to the Rainmaker one. I think I would be okay with this, and I think it does have a point where the special feels a bit less clunky. I know I said before where the Squid Form penalty would be very powerful, and I still believe it would be, but I also think Tri-Strike is one of the best options against HP specials and the best displacement special design-wise. So I think even if it was to be really good, this would be the special you would want to be really good anyway. Tacticooler. Object Shredder, I've talked about this a lot the previous times, has been something that's been consistent and hasn't really changed too much. I agree. I don't think it should do too much. I think it should stay and work as normal. Yeah, it's good to help against HP specials. Reef Slider can run over any sub-weapon with the shark itself, so it can't be blocked by things like a splash wall. And the drop roller effect. So this is similar to the JP patch notes thing that Ink University translated, but I'll be a bit more specific with it. So after the shark explodes, you have 15 frames of end lag. And then you can input any direction to get a drop roll, which will also give you the buffs of swim, run, and ink res that drop roller normally gives you. And if you don't input anything, you'll have 5 frames less end lag than currently. It's a cool option. You still have some lag that you're punishable, and obviously, even when you do the roll, that roll has a little bit of lag you could be stuck with as well, so it still leaves it very punishable, while giving you more options and making the special feel more cool. It's basically like you're doing a drop roll off of a motorcycle, as I guess that's what the shark is. Back, this one isn't changed either. It's the idea that you can cancel the suction mode at any point and be able to fire it, and then still coming with the downside of now you're more vulnerable to the side since this is a massive buff. Ultra Stamp increased it by a little less than my original patch notes, but still wanted it to be a bit easier to move. And then protection hitbox being increased. Main thing is Ultra Stamp. The devs, I believe that the devs want it to be an entry special with the weapons they put it on, and I agree that I think that's where it should be. The rush mode should protect you better with how close you have to go to people, and then just make it a little bit faster instead. Zipcaster. Duration increase so you can play to the angle a little bit more. I think that's still very important, and to give a little bit more time so the Zipcaster user doesn't have to panic it as much and has just a bit more chances to do things. 2 small changes. 1, you can now squid roll off of any surface when zip casting to it. If you zip on an inkable wall or floor, you can squid roll off it, but it takes a little bit of a delay. With this, you'll be able to do it immediately, and you'll even be able to do it on uninkable walls. So basically, if you zip on an uninkable wall, it'll look like it's painted for a tiny bit, and on that tiny bit, you can squid roll off it. So now whenever you zip cast to something, you're not stuck in total lag, but like with the Reef Slider, the whole roll options would still give you some form of lag. So I think it has a downside, but it gives you more options. When zipping, you now get thermal ink on all enemies. This works even when it's up close, and I have no idea why this was all capitalized, so just random drive things when I write my notes. But yeah, that's the idea, is basically you can see people. It's kind of similar to the Stinger and thermal ink. The idea is from this person. Inkjet. Damage on direct hit increased. Mentioned that before. Helps with object shredder and such. And then secondly, we can talk about the strafe speed being increased a little bit. I think that Inkjet does struggle a little bit with how easy it is to shoot out of the sky since the lack of ink armor, and I think making it move just a little bit faster would be fair. Point sensor. Gonna go with the same main weapon thing. Most of the sub stuff is the same, so I'm not gonna talk about it. It's the disruptor effect I mentioned before, mode 2 lasting longer, 2 curling bombs, but the paint trail being slightly reduced. All of this is the same that I've talked about previously, not much to say here. Line marker's the only change. I made it paint a little bit less better, so that's fine. And then I gave this a bit longer of a line. But other than that, that's the same. Abilities, LDE is still the same as what I've talked about previously. Respawn Punisher. I think the Respawn Punisher is a very poorly designed ability. I don't really like it right now. It kind of encourages very campy playstyles. It's only good on a few weapons. What I would say is a fair nerf to it is to make it a little bit less good against quick respawn, so that's what I'm going to change. It would still very much counter it, but it wouldn't hurt it as much, so quick respawn would be a bit better of an effect. Opening Gambit. Same things as before. Duration, more ability, all that. Basically allowing it to be used for multiple fights, which would help. Intensify action. This is the different change I'm going to do to blasters, which is that blasters currently have their own intensify curve that is significantly worse than shooters, and I'm just getting rid of it. So from now on, blasters and shooters will have the same, meaning you can run just a few subs for a pretty reasonable effect. Still requires max gear for perfect accuracy, obviously, but I think it's fair, honestly, and blasters have a lot of gear dependency. Finally, Squid Surge can charge a little bit faster without gear because Squid Surge kind of sucks. Okay, special points. Since I did buff Tri-Strike, we're going to move 10 attack to 200p, because with that Tri-Strike buff, it would be way too good. Splash to 210, even with the Crab nerf, it's still easily the strongest Crab kit in the game. And then Siege Junior to 200 because of special spam. Aerospray and Nova are still similar changes to before. A little bit less spread, a little bit faster, and then no drop-off damage at all. Thanks for the Looty Raid. Yeah, no problem, Falco. Welcome in. Splash Shot Pro decided to go with the frame buff from before. Oh, I'll talk about what exactly I predict we'll get in later. These are hopes, and then we'll kind of talk predictions, I guess. Forge is 210. We're going to keep Forge at 210 because we're going to do this buff, and this buff is kind of major. So basically, this will make it paint better, it'll move a little bit faster, it'll be a bit more ink hungry as well, but it'll kill a bit faster, much more worth it. And we'll nerf V-Pro back to 200 because of this, because we're also making Line Marker a real sub-weapon. But that's a major buff. Like, Line Marker will now combo with Pro, like, even more reliably. It's a much better sub, and so we're going to do that, and we're just going to give it the fire rate buff that I believe it needs. 96, 69 damage. Gonna be comboing things, but not comboing with 30 damage stuff like bombs. And then a bit of a spread decrease, so it's a bit easier to hit people. L3 Squiffer and Mini, medium to lightweight. All of these weapons are in a fine spot, but could use a little bit more of a nudge, and I think this is fair. It's also weird that the light nozzle nose, the weapon with the light in the name, is not a lightweight. H3, end lag decrease and a bit of a damage buff. Helps it against objects a bit, and it's just a bit too laggy for this game. Yo, thank you for the prime sub, by the way, Just Jonah. I appreciate it. Range Blaster, 190p, help with special output just a little bit because it's still kind of bad right now. Swig Roller. So, this is one of the new things. Here's what I have in terms of Swig Roller. First, the horizontal minimum damage can be a 3-shot instead of a 4-shot because that's really bad. But here is my idea, which is basically to tweak the vertical flick very significantly. Like, this is a lot of vertical flick changes. So, there's 2 buffs, and there's 2 nerfs to it. So we're basically entirely reworking how the vertical flick works. And this is my idea for Swig. So, vertical flick speed is now 1 frame slower than Carbon. It is now much faster. It is a very quick flick. And additionally, it's going to have way more range, so it's going to reach way farther. But the up-close kill range is going to be a bit smaller, so it's a bit harder to one-shot someone up close. And the minimum damage it does is decreased from 40 to 32, being much lower and now a 4-shot. So, what's my idea with this? My idea with this is that Swig right now just paints and doesn't do anything else, but I still want to keep it as a hard support that has really bad damage. So my idea is with this range and speed, you can now very easily chip people from mid to long range with the Swig Roller. So when you're painting and there's nothing to paint, you then just kind of hit people, and it's like you're hitting them with a little bomb constantly. You're just constantly poking them out of the way. And so I think that would be a good direction for the weapon that could be interesting. So that is currently what I think they should do with it. I'm not quite sure what the devs will actually do. I'll talk about this in the predictions later, but I'm almost certain the 3 new weapons are all going to get buffed. I think Swig, Nova, and Snipe Rider are all going to be buffed in the next patch, but I'll talk about that more later. Dynamo, similarly in a bad spot. Vertical flick is going to actually be lethal with how slow it is. It's still very easy to heal to avoid the 2-shot, so it won't be 2-shotting too often. But if you get in the right situations, I think it should work. Horizontal flick being a bit extra kill range, so it can actually fight short range shooters. And horizontal flick will now just have consistent paint. The highest amount it can paint with the droplets will now be perfectly consistent rather than varying. Compensation, little bit more ink hungry. Didn't go with the full 20% since I didn't increase the paint. And a bit higher points for special with 200p, so it could be a bit more to charge the special since the sub and special have also been buffed. But I think this makes it a consistent painter. The vertical flick is now a consistent kill option, and I like it. GooTuber. Highlight the area with partial charge, and give it sub weapons without dropping charge, making it a little bit better overall. Oh, whoops, that's the wrong button. Oop, sorry. Hold on. Sorry. Why? Twitch? Why? Twitch, why do you think that? There we go. Anyway. I think I'm buffing ancient close damage from 50 to 60. Nah, I think 50 is fair. It should be easy to heal from the 2-shot because it's very strong. Bamboo. So I discovered that Bamboo actually has low damage multipliers to Crab and Booyah Bomb, so this will be fixed so it actually has positive damage multipliers. It's fine versus everything else. Pain inconsistencies will be fixed, which is a bit of a glitch. It'll get its old shots back since it no longer has damage up, and it will have the better charge damage scaling. A lot of buffs, but I think Bamboo kind of deserves it. This gives it a bit more niche with the 2 half charge kills, and also makes this way more reliable in terms of actually being an object breaker. Snipe Rider similarly will be better at breaking objects. It'll get a little bit more damage to 65 to be able to combo 35 things. And the main thing is I'm going to give Snipe Rider a charge hold. It will still be a very situational one because every time you do a backflip in the ink, you'll lose one of your shots. But I think that's a good trade-off that gives you a little bit more mobility, which is better than something it currently has. Chargeable swimming at half charge speed. I thought about that, but I think Subweapons is more interesting. Like, it just gives you more to do with it. Whereas swimming is just kind of like, I mean, it's better, but yeah. I guess I'll say my take on Chargers here. I think if they're going to keep the current map design, Charger will have to be nerfed. In fact, I'd go so far as to say I wouldn't even be surprised if E-Liter got nerfed in the next patch, even though it's being taken out by Crab right now. I think that the devs understand how good E-Liter is with the fact that they made a 210 wave, that I wouldn't even be surprised if they nerfed it. But what I would do is I would just flat out make it a little bit longer to charge, a little bit more of a window. But as compensation, so Charger players get something and they'd get a little bit more damage on the tap shots. I wanted to give something to trade off that nerf. Obviously, this is still a net nerf, but I think somewhat fair here. And this also does mean that your partial charges would do more damage, because it's not starting at 40 anymore. It's starting at 45, and it's ramping up from there. So the partials would also be a little bit better. And I think that maybe could encourage more aggressive gameplay. I'll just say carries over into charge curve. It's like maybe this could encourage a bit more like partial charge 2 taps, some stuff that like power goes for, and I think that could maybe just encourage a little bit more active charger play rather than passive. That's kind of my hope. Blob needs to do better damage, so damage will be there. The main thing is the travel speed 1 after the first bounce. So basically, if you're defending yourself with Blob, the shot goes really slowly. So now, before it bounces the first time, it'll be fast. So if someone's really close to you, you can have a bit of an easier time hitting them, even if it'll still be slow. But after the first bounce, it's like normal. Hydra, a little bit faster because of the meta. Ballpoint, gonna keep the same damage thing from the what if we buffed things kind of like Nintendo style fully. I think this would still make sense to give it a little bit of its old damage back, and it would still need a little bit more helpful stuff against objects. Clash, a little bit better damage. Again, just trying to give it something that would help in terms of higher level play without affecting lower level. Octobrush, small buff, but it really should have the same Incres roll. I think any new brushes they add should do that. Dapple Doolies, going with the Rainmaker Shield niche again from that same patch as the ballpoint one. Dooley Squelchers, gonna just go with a little bit extra shot velocity, but do a little bit more than I thought of previously and not affect the spread and other stuff. It's a small buff, but I think it would help to make it a little bit more reliable. Yeah, Blob is terrible right now, guys. Blob is awful. Gluga gonna do the same thing, kind of promote a more healthy playstyle, remove the special dependence that it has with the Booyah Bomb, and give it the ability to kind of poke with the standard fire, and then get the roll buff from. So yes, I'm keeping this. I really like this idea. Brelos, I decided to do a little bit more than the damage buff because I'm sold that the damage alone wouldn't be enough. So the damage buff is going to be there for Brella, but now it'll also get more shots with the main weapon, the same thing I thought of for Splatoon 2. But instead of Splatoon 2, instead of it in Splatoon 2, it's going to be here, obviously. Can't shield as much still, but you're going to be able to shoot a little bit more, so you'll be able to paint a bit more and get a bit more special. So this will increase your output if you're not fighting, but if you're fighting, you'll still have the bad ink efficiency problems. Undercover is kind of be similar, but I'm actually going to give it a little bit more range. I know it'll be a little weird for Undercover to have more range than Brella, but I think it would be fair. And basically it gives it away like, I will get the first shot if I'm fighting a short-range shooter, because I will have a little bit more range. I think that's a fair way to go about it, and that makes Undercover really good in the matchups it's supposed to be good in, and it allows it to be a little bit more safe, and it also means it'll paint a little bit better. So, good to push it in whatever role they want to do it. Finally, 10, I'll actually be giving even more damage than pre-patch. I know that the 10 shield is very weak, and a lot of 10 players talk about it, but I kind of like how easy the shield is to break. I think before The main problem with tent in Splatoon 2 is some things you just could not pick into a tent, and in this game that's less strict. So to compensate, we're just going to drastically reduce the shot fall off so tent can actually poke people at mid-range without doing, like, negative damage. And then, yeah, to wrap it up, try Stringer with a little bit extra charge speed in the air. The last patch did a lot for it, but I think it could use a little bit more. And then Reflux, now that missile spam is no longer a big thing, I want to buff it so it can actually be useful in terms of its full charge, being able to poke properly and actually use the full charge against enemies, and the charge speed being a little bit faster. So basically, both buffs are to the charge shots rather than the painting mode to promote a bit better of a playstyle. Give me 1 second. Okay, so that's a long laundry list of my thoughts. Yeah, exactly, like what Beta said. I think it's mainly solo queue. So that's a long laundry list of my thoughts. What stuff do I think is actually going to happen from this? Alright, here we go. I think, these are my actual predictions for the next patch. I think Crab Tank will get a small nerf. I think the duration one is likely, maybe a little bit less range, something like that. I do not think it'll be this much. I think it'll be maybe half as much of the changes I'm doing. I think it's going to be a lot less. I would say duration is one thing, and then maybe end lag. Hitbox is also... I think all of these could happen, it's just I think they'll only do about 2 of them. I don't think they're going to nerf this. I don't think they're going to nerf this. I don't think they're going to nerf it. Don't think they'll buff it. Don't think they'll buff it. I think they're going to buff Slider, but I'm not sure how. They're definitely going to do something with it, but I don't know what exactly they want to do, because the previous buffs were kind of just to make it an object damage thing. I would say having it delete stuff kind of like Splashdown would be the buff I think they'll do. I don't think they're going to buff Vacuum again. I think they might buff Stamp, but only a little bit, or they would make it cheaper. I do think they'll buff Zipcaster. I'm not quite sure how, but I do think they'll buff Zipcaster. I think the devs want Zip to be a bit better. I don't think they're going to buff Inkjet because I think they forgot the specials in the game, and when they remember it, they'll be like, oh, it's just because of the weapons it's on. That must be it, and they're not going to touch it. I don't think there's going to be any sub-weapon changes. I don't think they're going to touch Burst Bomb, so I really don't think they're going to touch any of the subs. Maybe they'll buff Line Marker again, actually. So, on Overwatch stuff, I mean, I like it, but I don't know if I'll talk about Overwatch stuff. That would be a bit different. But yeah, I think they might buff Line Marker. Nowhere near this much, but I think they might also give Line Marker another nudge in the right direction. I'm not sure how, but I think damage is decently reasonable, but I think it'd be more like a 30 to 35 thing, but I could see it. I don't think any abilities are going to get changed. I do think Splash will be 210. I think this is the most likely thing we're going to get in the patch. The only thing I feel super confident calling here is I think Splash will be 210. I have no doubt in my mind they will make Splash 210. That's the only thing I think. I don't think they're going to do either of these. This one's dependent on Tri-Strike buff anyway. I don't think they're going to touch Aerospray, but I think they will actually buff Nova. But I don't think they're going to do this. I think they're just going to flat out buff Nova's paint. I think they're just going to make Nova paint a bit better. I think they want it to be a painter, and they're going to adjust it like that. So I think Nova will get a painting buff. Seems reasonable to me. I think they're going to ignore... I think they might actually... I think they might make Pro 200p. I think they might lower Pro down from 210, like Forge. Maybe. Don't think they're going to touch 96. Don't think they're going to touch these. I don't think they're going to touch H3. I definitely don't think they're going to touch Range Blaster. I think they're going to buff this, but I actually have no idea how. I do think Swig will get buffed because it is a new weapon that's not performing as well. I'm not quite sure what they'll do. Maybe they'll do like a 70 to 80 damage for the maximum for the horizontal flick and the roll. Or maybe they'll do like vertical flick having a bit less lag. But I think they're going to buff Swig a little bit. I don't think they're going to touch this. Don't think they'll do this. I think they might actually give Bamboo its old shots back. I think they might make it go back to 14 just because it's in the name, and I think they kind of want to go back on that one, so I think they'll do that. I think Snipe Rider will actually get a buff too. I could see them actually buffing Snipe Rider's object damage with how awful it is. I think they might actually do something like this where they adjust the multipliers or buff its damage. Or this one where they do 65. I think Snipe Rider will probably do a bit better damage. I just don't really see what else they would change. Unless if they reduce the charge time. Maybe they would do that instead. But I think Snipe Rider is probably going to get... Like, between... I guess outside of Nova's painting buff, I think Snipe Rider is going to get a very good buff. I think E-Liter might be nerfed. Maybe. I don't know what they would do with it. Maybe they would touch ink efficiency, but I think E-Liter's probably going to get nerfed. Actually, sorry, not probably. I think there's a chance they nerf Leader. They're definitely not buffing this. They're not buffing this. They're not going to buff this. They're not going to buff this. No, 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 no. I think they're still going to ignore Brella until second kits happen for them. I think they're still going to leave every Brella as is, including Undercover. I don't think they're going to buff any of them. Maybe 190p Strike because of T-Tech and the fact that V-Brella in Splat 2 was 190. So maybe that. Maybe they'll do 190 V-Brella. I think that's the only thing I would expect. I think they're going to ignore Brellas again. I'm very confident they will. I think they might actually buff Tri-Stringer again. I actually think they might give Tri-Stringer a tiny buff. I don't think it'll be significant, but I think they'll give it something a little bit extra. Do you think they'll ignore H3? Yes. I think they're not going to touch H3 until it gets a second kit. See, I have this theory in general that I think, unless if it's really obvious the kit works for a weapon and it's still bad, that I think the devs are just going to wait until a weapon gets a second kit and then think about changing it. So I think H3 is the case will be like, oh yeah, the kit's probably just bad in comp. We're just going to leave it and wait until it gets another kit. I think they're scared of Kunder with Undercover Brella, and they're scared of low-level play. I think that's the two things they're worried about. Though maybe Undercover isn't a low-level menace in Japan, I have no idea. I don't even know if it is in this game anymore, but I do think they're afraid of Kunder. That's why. Because I think they're going to give a Kunder-type kit. Like, I think we're going to get Torpedo Inkstorm for the second Undercover kit. I'm almost positive, because it had Storm in the trailer, and Torpedo for the third kit would make too much sense. Like, I'm almost certain this will get Torp Storm, and they're going to see how that performs. Which, to be fair, this with Torp Storm would actually be okay. It would not be good, but it would be okay. So, like, I could see that. I don't know if they're going to buff Reflux. And I kind of prefer they don't, as much as I just talked about this, because if Reflux becomes really good, it kind of opens the door to double missile comps. And I think even the devs are kind of cautious about that, so I don't think they'll buff Reflux. As for the Splatanas, I think both Splatanas are in a good spot. I would be really surprised if they buffed it. I think if they wanted Wiper to be better, they'd buff the Stamp. That's why I think Stamp might be buffed. I don't think they're going to buff the Wiper. Maybe like a little bit of the charge / end lag, so it's the same as Stamper instead of slightly worse. I don't know, maybe, but I don't see them buffing Wiper again. I think the Wiper buff was much more impactful than the Stringer buff. So yeah, that's kind of what I expect. So obviously it's a long way from what I want, but I'm confident that the nerfs and buffs they do will be in the right direction for the game. I do think it's just going to be slow. Like, I think the devs know what to do with the game. I just think they're going to be very hesitant in doing it. And so I think it's going to be a while before Splatoon 3 comp gets, like, mega optimized. Between needing more kits for every weapon and a bit more balance tweaking, which they're doing slowly, I just think it's going to take, like, a year or so until it starts to hit, like, wow, this meta is absolutely insane. Like, it's still fun. I think the game's even fun in this meta, but I think, like, it's going to take a while before the balance gets, like, really optimized. But I think it will happen. But I do think it's going to take time. I will be honest. I think it's going to be slowly over the course of patches. Because, like, what they've done with previous patch changes is good. It's just, it's small. Like, it's, like, the vacuum change. It did need that damage buff. Slider needed the damage buff. Missile getting the output nerf was good. The points for special increases were good. The Booyah mash removing is good. Like, pretty much, I don't think I have a negative change I actually dislike. The only thing that made me concerned was the Dapple kit, like the Nuvo Dapple. That's it. That's the only thing they've done in terms of patches and adding things to the game that's made me go, uh-oh, this might be a problem. Outside of the maps, but, you know. But I am confident, like, and I think the big one is Ultra Stamp and Zipcaster. I think Stamp, Zip, and Slider, those three. I think Nintendo's gonna buff all of them. I think they want those specials to be better. Because I think they want Slider and Ultra Stamp to be entry tools. And then Zip, I think they want to open up the maps. And those three specials are very important above. But it's like this patch, they just put Stamp on other weapons. And if Stamp's still not seeing use after that, I think that'll be enough for them to look at the special and be like, okay, it's been some time, the special works, it's on more weapons, it's still not seeing much use. Well, I think the way Nintendo saw it was like, okay, this game has more powerful specials, so maybe missiles will be balanced in this game because other specials are good. Nope. Nope, they're still one of the best ones in the game. Still. Even with the more powerful specials in this game, missiles is still just that good. So, I mean, it's hard to argue with it, really. I don't think they're gonna buff the zip armor. Maybe they'll make the armor have a bit more of a grace period, kind of like they did with Booyah's armor when you like hit a wall. But I don't think we're gonna get that. Which I'm fine with, honestly. I kind of like how the armor works right now. Give Stamp armor? No, I don't think you should give Stamp armor. Just make it block better in front of you, but it needs to remain as vulnerable as it is on the sides. How do you fix Stamp? I think it just needs to protect you better. Like, the part that actually blocks attacks needs to be bigger. There needs to pierce the other armor. What the fuck? What does that even mean? No, Ealer should not pierce armor. Pierce crab? Yeah, great. Now we move from one problematic meta to another. Except lasts longer if you get kills with it? Ooh. Ooh, I like that idea. I really like that idea. Here, where's my reworks list? Let me get to my reworks list. We're gonna go log that here somewhere. I think this is it, right? Zipcaster. No, this is the one I'm at. My red text. Why is this so far down? Wait, why is this so far down? Is it really that long? Oh, it's because of all my commentary, okay. Where's my Zipcaster? I'll write that down. Kills equals duration extend. Yeah, you can see I log all my patch ideas. I just don't delete them. That's why this doc is so long. I don't know. I'm like... This is why, like, I'm very invested in patch changes right now. You guys have probably noticed, like, this is like my third video talking about patch ideas. This one's the only one that's been mine. Admittedly, I'm doing this one because I'm bored at Splatfest and I have nothing to do, but, like, I just think... I think how the devs want to balance the game is just so important right now. Like, I think it's just so important at the moment. I'm just so curious what they'll do with it. Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have any questions or any thoughts on Balance Patch you guys want to talk about? Is the problem crab or the splash that gets crab? The problem is crab. I know some people think it's like splash, and yes, splash is a very strong kit, but like, I don't. I still think splash is what's the problem. Or sorry, I still think crab is what the problem is. I think crab just breaks the maps. I think it just breaks the maps way too hard. A splash, I think the main weapon is fine. I mean, here's the thing. I think splash is a really good main weapon, but it's also not so good to the point where I want them to nerf the main weapon, you know? Like, I kind of like that level of good main weaponry. What do you already have for marker? This. A mist effect could be interesting, but I think they're kind of afraid of anything like that. You think a kill will be 230? I don't think the devs are even going to do 220. Yes, it'll be on the BOD channel. I don't even think the devs are going to do 220p. Like, I think they actually don't want to do 220. I think if they were okay with 220, Machine would have been 220 by now. Like, I think it kind of already would have been there if they wanted to do that. But I just think they're like, because in Splatoon 2, 220 killed so many good weapons. Like, I don't think people realize just how bad for the game 220 was. Like, CDS was dead. Like, actually dead, because that thing could not get its special. And so we just lost a good weapon and got replaced with, well, this thing can spam 10 missiles. And it took over. Like, I think even the devs have realized that was a problem. And even though the average is 200, I still think 220 would be too high. Because there is still 180 weapons. Yeah, and also they got rid of 230 on ballpoint before ballpoint was even nerfed well enough. Like, ballpoint was still a problem, and they were still like, yeah, 230 was too much. And 220 still killed the weapon. Or not killed, but adding splash on a salmon run? I mean, it'd be fine if they did, but how do you buff Brella? They all need damage. I think outside of that, you could do a bunch of different ways, but I think every Brella needs to do damage. Like, more. Brellas just don't do enough damage in this game. They need to do damage. They need to actually be threatening. Like, that just has to be changed. I don't think damage on its own would be enough, but I think they need to start there. Like, for me to see that they're going to put Brellas on the right path, I think they need to do damage. Yeah, Undercover should stay a 3-hit. It would be very dumb if it was a 2-hit, but I think, like... And it's also just, that's how they do weapons, like, something FLC's pointed out. They try to avoid weapons with the same number of shots in ways, like, Brella's 2-shot, Tense 1-shot, Undercover 3-shot. Like, I think that's intended. Should bring back Depletion. I mean... I wouldn't be opposed if they brought back Special Depletion. I just think it'd have to be less significant. Like, instead of 40, 60, 75, I think it'd have to be, like, 45, 50, 60, something like that. Different respawn times for different weapons? Nah, I don't think that would... Because, like, the things with a slow respawn time are then just gonna play campy. Like, that's kind of something that you have to be a bit careful about, is, like, you don't want to accidentally tweak something. Like, I thought of, okay, maybe Respawn Punisher should punish the user more because I don't like how it's designed, and then I realized, A, that doesn't fix it, but B, now charges are going to just be more campy. Can Vac block Stamp Throw? No. Nightbot is correct. Thank you, Nightbot. Good answer. Nah, I'm kidding. Nightbot's wrong. It can't. Vac eats it. Yeah, I'm just... Wavebreaker is going to be dominant. I mean, yeah, I think Wave is going to be the special next patch. I think it's going to be Wavebreaker if they don't change it. I think C Junior and E-Liter will be some of the best weapons in the game. And I think both of them will probably be played in a comp. Like, I think C Junior E-Liter will probably be the basis. It could change depending on how exactly they nerf in the patch. But if they kill Crab and then, like really kill Crab, I think Wave is going to take over. Because Wave is just really good. Should Brella's Canopy have a different multiplier than object damage? Maybe, but I'm okay with the Brella damage in this game. Like, I don't hate that specials break Brella shield really well. I kind of don't hate that. And now Splat Charger can't one-shot a Brella shield with MPU, so I'm kind of okay with it. That was the only thing that was dumb. What about Zuka? I think Zuka's fine. I think Zuka's a special where, like, if the overtuned stuff is toned back, it'll be in the perfect spot. It's just kind of waiting. B. Oh, Bubble. Bubble. I mean, what my idea would be for my changes is, like, the stuff I would buff would be good against Bubble. Like, more Stamp and more Slider would make Bubble balanced to me. And I think, like, the addition of... I think now that people have realized Stamper is a weapon in the video game, Bubble should not see major use. Or not see major use, but, like, Bubble should not be good without counterplay. Like, there should be stuff. Yeah, Bubble on Tower is still a problem. They should still have to tone that back, but... I don't know, I'm not really... Even when Bubble was meta, like, I thought it needed an HP nerf, but I didn't think it was, like, the most annoying thing in the world. Like, I never hated Bubble. I thought it needed a tone back, but it was fine. Like, it didn't really cause any problems. If anything, Bubble kind of enables some interesting comps because it has a beacon in it. Like, I think Junior is kind of a gateway to some really fast comps. Like, I think Junior being replaced with Splash was actually the thing that hit Dooley Tetra comps the most. Because Dooley Tetra loved playing with the fucking Junior. They loved that so much. That trio of weapons, and then, like, a heavy with it, was so good. I think I kind of want that trio back before I touch Bubble. Because that was just such a good trio for the game. Objects get faster on Tower? Yeah, Bubble does. But it's still 9 whole seconds on the tower instead of 15. Yeah, I don't think Bubble should be on moving objects, or I think they need to kill the duration more. Like, I think it should be 5 seconds if it's on a moving object. Cooler decays faster? Wait, is that a thing? Cooler decays faster on a moving object? Is that true? Hold up. Is that a thing? What is it? I think it's 7.5 seconds. Let me test. I've never heard of that. Is that an actual interaction in the game? Let me put you guys in the right color so people can read. Alright. Let me see. God, I haven't played a cooler weapon in forever. Actually, I'm lying. I've played Dynamo recently. It lasts like 7.5 seconds normally, if I remember correctly. Yeah, cooler gives QSJ. The cooler QSJ is actually super underrated. Dude, The goddamn beacon cooler is such a cool kit for making up for Cooler's flaws of forcing you to clump, and they had to put it on the one weapon that would only be good in a little bit of places, being Rainmaker. Please put that kit on ballpoint, please. Beacon tack on ballpoint would be so good. Please, please, please. Okay, let me see. How much less is this? I guess it should be less, because it does, this thing does deflect bombs. So it's still very good to put on tower. So let me see. How short is it? Rough estimate. Because Bubble loses 6 seconds. So does this lose what, 2 or 3? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Huh. 6 seconds, right? Feels like 6 seconds. I did not know that was a thing. Yeah, that feels like 6 seconds. Not still the same. Is it the same? Yo! Yo, J Music Band, thank you so much. I appreciate the raid. I hope you guys had an awesome stream. We were talking about balance stuff, and now we're in a weird dilemma talking about, we're trying to settle, does Cooler last less long on the tower? Because Beta says it does, and we're kind of trying to time it, but we're bad at timing things. Okay, I'm just gonna clip it this time. Why would it? Because it's on a moving object. Let me see. Should be 7.5 seconds. So we're gonna just... I know there's a rough way to time things, but, like, it should be good enough. Okay, the bar... No, it's still 7.5. No, it's the same, Beta. Pretty sure that's the exact same. So, it's not changed. It's just Bubble. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the raid. Yeah. Again, for the most part, I think they're going to put the game in the right direction. I just think it's going to take time. Wall on heavy, that would be good, yeah. I think it's going to get wall again. I think it'll probably get, like, wall tri-strike is what I'm predicting. Which I think would be really good for it. New weapons? Well, we know Splash and Dynamo are going to be them. We know there's a new Splash and a new Dynamo already. They're already in the code. Like, they have new models. So, I think they're going to give the new Splash Zipcaster. I think it's going to be Mist Zip. I'm almost positive. That or they'll give it an actual bomb and zip. But I don't know what other bomb they'd give it, because I don't think they do suction again. Why Mist? Because it had it before. I would be very surprised if Splash did not get Zipcaster. Actually, they could also do it to Squeezer. I don't want to think about that, though. I don't want to think about a Zipcaster Squeezer breaking the video game. Or not breaking, but, well, yeah. I mean, it originally had Zipcaster in the trailer, yeah. Like, it was the weapon that showed it off first. I think they're going to give Zip to Splash. I think Squeezer's gonna get Big Bubble. Unless if H3 gets it. I think one of those two will get it. And I think the new L3 is gonna get Stamp. I think they're gonna give it Burst Stamp. Which should also be pretty interesting. I've kind of thought about, like, what every weapon is likely to get kit-wise. Like, I was already pretty close to correct on so many of the Chill Season kits. And now I've just applied what formula they're doing, and now I'm, like, most weapons, I have a feeling what kit they're gonna get. Like, I think I've kind of figured it out. Like, I kind of have a good idea of what they're gonna do for pretty much every weapon. You Squeezer? I don't think they're gonna give Squeezer Booyah, because they gave it to Pro. So I don't think they give Squeezer Booyah. I think 96 will get Wall. I don't think they're going to give it Booyah. I think it's going to get Wall Shark or Wall Stamp. Maybe Wall Crab too. I'm not sure. But Wall Reef Slider seems likely because that's just the best hybrid of like Kraken and Splashdown would be Slider. I think 96 is definitely going to get Slider. Next Swig kit. Well, the Swig one is that's one of the few I can't predict because they don't have anything to go off of. I have no idea what Swig, Nova, or Pencil are gonna get. Those are the three I don't know. Oh yeah, and the Splatanas and Stringers. Tri-Slosh? I think they're gonna give Tri-Slosh. I think they're gonna give it its Burst Bomb back, honestly. I think they're gonna give Tri-Slosh Burst Bomb again. You know the shooter with Booyah? I mean, do we? It's already on 2 of them. I don't think a third shooter is gonna get Booyah. Until third kits, maybe. But I don't think it's... I think they've already done the 2 shooters they want. I feel like Noah's a shooter, they get Missile. I don't think they'll give it Missile. I do think they give Noah Burst Bomb, though. Hope Stamper gets Suction. I mean, it'd be fine. Dynamo Kit? So Dynamo is a lot of things they can pull from. Originally, I was kind of on the side of what most people thought, which is like, oh, they'll do Splat Bomb Tri-Strike, you know, the gold kit from Splatoon 1. But then they made 2 Splat Bomb Tri-Strike kits. So I don't think that'll be a thing. So I think what's likely is Splat Bomb Booyah Bomb. I think that is what Dynamo would get. I think Splat Bomb Booyah to be a hybrid between the current and Kensa kits makes a bit of sense. So that would be my prediction. But you have a lot to pull from. Whale you can pull from, Wavebreaker, Ink Mine, even though they put it on Flingsus, I don't think it's likely. Bubble, though I don't think they're going to do that either because they already did attack. Curling Bomb, Fizzy Bomb. There's a lot you could pull from that could work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, Beta, I think you're confusing the slider, the Tacticooler's stand. The stand lasts 7.5 seconds constantly. It doesn't last 15. The buffs are 15. I think you're confusing them. So I just tested again. Zap will be Auto Storm. I think it's gonna get yeah, I think Auto Bomb Storm is likely, or Auto Bomb Missile. I would not be surprised if they gave it Auto Missile for the Tacticooler thing, Beta. It's not shorter. I'm not quite sure. Like, I just tested. The buffs still last 15 seconds even on tower, and the stand lasts 7.5, which is normal. Yeah, I do think they might give Zap Missile. I'm gonna be honest. I think they might do Autobomb Missile again. Or Sprinkler Missile. I think it's possible. I'm hoping they don't. I mean, yeah. Like Goss, of course. But like, how do you go there? Like that's the actual question. Like, of course the devs want like somewhat close to that, but what do they do to get there? Like, what do you change in what direction to reach that goal? Because you can go for that goal in many different ways. Like, you can have every weapon be equal, but have them be equal in different ways. Like, are they going to be equal by pure variety, or do they need to also not do certain things? Like, something like that. I'm not going to change the chat color back. I'm too lazy. I'll put you guys... I don't know. You guys are going to... I'll put you here so your message can be readable in the bottom. I'm not changing it. I'm too lazy. I mean, I think something else will get Missile eventually. No idea. I mean, that's why when I put this stock for me, I wrote, like, this is how I would focus. Like, this would be how I would do things. But for me to do these goals is, like, my goals are, okay, the maps are bad, we're building around it. I don't think Nintendo is going to say that. I don't think Nintendo would go, okay, we acknowledge our maps suck. Here's what we're gonna do about it. Like, I don't think they're gonna do that. The good news is, I think Nintendo is actually cautious about over-nerfing weapons. Like, I think they actually did learn that part. Because they have been cautious with nerfing things, so I don't think they're gonna kill weapons. Hopefully. Hopefully. They don't do it. Only two options in the game that break faster on tower, bubble and cooler. No, cooler does not break faster on tower. Like, I tested it. It doesn't. It's the same. It's still 7.5 seconds. And the buffs are still 15. Will they make map changes? I don't think map changes are going to happen for, like, another few seasons. Splatoon 2's didn't happen for a while. I think it's going to be later. No, the stand does not break after 15 seconds on the ground. I literally... Okay. I'll pull this up. Cool transition. It's just the default one. I didn't make it. They did map changes. I don't think they're gonna do map changes. I just don't think they're gonna do reworks yet. I think it's too early. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. Oh, I am dumb. Oh, I am dumb. You are totally right. Okay, never mind. Huh. I always thought the stand lasted 7.5 seconds. Where did I get the number from? Oh! 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 Never mind. I get it. I get it. I get what my misconception is. Okay, but now, wait, why does this number exist then? Wait, why is this wait, but now this is dumb. Wait, no, now this is stupid. Wait, why can you build special while the cooler's still on the ground? Because after 7.5 seconds, you can start charging your next special. That's what the number is. Because look at the special meter. Look. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. And I can start farming another cooler. Why? Why is that a thing? No, it's not bad. It's just I'm questioning it. Because I don't... Why does he start counting at 1? Because he... What? Because I'm... Why would you count from 0? Anyway, huh. I wonder where they got this 7.5 second number then. That's strange. Why are you... Because I always assumed it was when this broke that you got to farm your next special, and that's how it worked. I swear the stand didn't last as long at one point. Am I crazy? For another special... No, nothing else is... Inkjet's the only one at 7.5, but I wouldn't confuse Inkjet with it. Is the stand 7.5 on tower? And maybe it's a bug? Or it just counts down on the tower timer for some reason? Because, like, the 7.5 second number doesn't come from anything. But the tower one, why does that affect your farming, though? That's so strange. Because here this should match. Here the cooler would break at the same time as the top right. Yeah. Huh. No, but that's the thing. Even when the stand doesn't break, you can still charge it at the same time. Bubble doesn't work like that at all, but this does. This is the only thing that works like that. That's really weird. Wait, how did that 7.5 number, like, happen? Like, where did the devs get 7.5 from? Respawn time? No. I have no idea what that's from. That's weird. Yeah, that's why I think it's weird. It's like, why does one part function like that, but not the other? It's really strange. Yeah, I don't know. That's my, yeah, you can substrafe with cooler, by the way. Just to show how universal substrafe is, you can substrafe with a fucking cooler. It just looks really weird, but, like, you can. Can you a stamp? Yeah, I think you can. I'll test. Reminder, substrafing was a glitch. Substrafing was an unintended mechanic. Substrafing was never intended originally. They just put it in the game. Which is insane because this is made by Nintendo, who fucking hates glitches. I don't know if it's something special with the Splatoon dev team, but the fact that they made it an actual feature, like they patched it on the weapons that couldn't do it. Mine and Secret weapons couldn't do it, and mine and Splatoon 2 couldn't do it for a while, and then they just buffed it in. They were like, okay, mine can do this now. It's universal. Fuck it. Oh, shit. All right, well, what other thing we were testing? Stamp real quick. Shout out to Splat 2 Mind Buff. Yeah, Splat 2 Mind Buff was like... That was such a pog moment. I don't care if that's a cringe phrase. That was like... They're acknowledging it! They're making it a mechanic! Yo! That was huge. That was so huge. Like, we never knew if substrafing would just be gone one day. And then they just did it. Let me see. I'm pretty sure you can substrafe with stamp, but after the cooler thing, I no longer trust my own game knowledge a little bit. Yeah, you can. It's just the throw mode is a sub weapon, so you can substrafe with it. So yeah. No, wave dashing was intentional, I thought. Yeah, the forum thing. At least that's the video I saw, the awesome sauce one. I'm pretty sure wave dashing is intended. Zip can substrafe, yeah. At least I think it can. God, now I'm paranoid about everything I think I know. The cooler thing has destroyed my knowledge. Bro, my fucking brain broke. I just remember little things about this so well. And I'm just surprised I forgot part of it. Like, I'm surprised I actually didn't know something. Inkstorm, you can with Storm. I know that one. I'm confident enough to know that one is true. I need a carbon game from someone I fought. Oh, this is quad. Sorry, no, I need the scrim. We fought Omega. Did Omega not play it? Oh yeah, here we go. He fucking destroyed us this game. Wow. Alright. Yes, it did. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting, balance talk. I don't know. I'm very curious what they do. As with every patch, I'm very curious what they change. I think this one more than the previous one, though, because this, like... I think the decision on what to do with Crab is the biggest decision they've had so far. Like, they haven't had quite as big a problem as they've had with Splash and Crab, and I think seeing what the devs are going to do to respond to that is going to be very insightful. So, I'm very curious what they're going to do. I am very, very curious what they'll do. Well, Splash is like... Splash is the only weapon that's, like, completely dominated. Like, yes, people ran 3 machines, but the 3 machines would lose. Like, there were counter strats to it that were good. Like, you could run the double Dooley Jr. thing and beat machines. Anything you want to deal with Splash is playing with a Splash. Like, you are running 2 Splash in any good combo. Maybe on some rare occasions 1. Really, I might beat your mom without Crab. I mean, yes, but that's... How do I say this? I mean this in, like, not... I don't mean this in any disrespectful way, but the gap between those teams and top level in Japan, there's a sizable gap. Why doesn't Last Resort run Double Splash? We do. We learned very quickly from, like, results that we should run one. But yes, at the level that those teams are at, Limeade is good enough to beat a team around that level without a Crab. But at the highest levels, Crab is the only thing winning. It's the only thing getting top 4 in majors. There has not been a recent major of any kind where top 4 did not have double Crab. Every single one was 2 Crab, as far as I'm aware. You come up with your team name? I think Kiwi came up with it. We were just throwing ideas at the wall, and I needed something... Like, we needed a special character tag because Storm's name is 9 characters. So we were like, what could represent with a symbol? And then Last Resort was, someone was like, oh, the Pokemon move has stars in it. So just use a star. And then, Resort would reference Mahi, because we like Mahi, and then they ruined Mahi, but we don't talk about that. Anyway, so, yeah. Did you thank you for the prime? Why do people want missiles gone? Because, yes, it got, like, a good nerf it needed, but it's still an unhealthy as fuck special for the game. Like, it's still not good for the game. It's still global displacement, global range, free tracking, all that other shit. Like, it's still not healthy. It's just not as bad as it used to be, spammability-wise. Yeah, they're less toxic now, but they're still bad for the game. They're just less bad for the game. Which, like, good, but... How good is Reflux? I think Reflux is total dog shit outside of Turf War. I think that weapon is terrible. I talked about it in my tier list video, though, so I'm not gonna talk about it more. Can you even call it good in turf? I mean, it's still good in turf. Because in turf, you just play 3 splash. So, like, the reflux just goes and paints what after the splashes win a fight, and it gets missiles. And then, like, missiles are more valuable in turf because you're against 3 crabs. So you can missile all 3 crabs, and that's huge. Because, like, you'll use crabs at the same time because of the timer. So, like, there'll be 2 or 3 crabs in the last 20 seconds, and you'll missile them, and it's really good. How much of the meta shift did they fix the maps? A lot. A lot. I think the meta would be very different. I have no idea, like, what would be good anymore. Like, our current understanding in meta is based on what the maps play like. Changing that would change so much, it, like, completely shifts your perspective on the game. I mean, yeah. Like, of course you're gonna struggle with map lists. They're, like, what the fuck do you do? Like, let me pull up a send doing. Also, I don't know why I have this here twice. Yeah, we're done with the patch. Let me pull up, like, a... If I'm being brutally honest on map lists, like, what the fuck do you do? Like, here's brutal, honest opinion on maps. Shit, shit. Maybe okay here. Maybe. Only here. Shit. Shit. Here. I guess. Shit, except for you. Dog shit, dog shit. Dog shit, dog shit, dog shit. Fine. Dog shit. Good. Dog shit, dog shit, dog shit. This... Oh, you can't see. Yeah. Here. This is the fucking list. Like, beta, this is my genuine, honest, like, bias aside. This is my, okay, these maps are good. And in this meta, in crab meta, I would get rid of this, and I would get rid of this. In crab meta, that goes as well. In crab meta, these are your maps. These are your maps in crab meta that you get to pick. Have fun. Have fun with these. Woo, we can play Mako and Flounder the tournament. And if I were to be even more picky, this has a shit mid. This doesn't have enough varied paths. This is too small. This doesn't have enough varied paths. These are fine. Sure. Bit too strict with special advantage. If I'm being harsh, these are my good maps. If I'm being extremely harsh, these are my good map modes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, no, RS3. This is, new mode on it, but it's S1 map, S2 map, S1 map. And S2 map. It's 2 S2 maps and 2 S1 maps. Undertow underrated? Yeah, the mid is shit, though. These are unplayable because you're in mid, so they're horrible. This expands it, but not enough. And this is the only mode to actually escape mid. Like, if mid didn't exist, this would be a top-tier Rainmaker map mode. In fact, I would still say, like, if you're picking a map list, you'd put Undertow Rainmaker in. Because Undertow Rainmaker takes you out of mid. Would Mori Towers be unplayable? Yes. Hagglefish just sucks in this meta, but, like, If it's a different meta, then yeah, you can enable these two, and it's probably fine. Just Cure Stamper's still meta. It's like an off meta strat, but yes, it's still good. How good would Reef be here? Reef would be played in zones, tower, and clams if it had no changes. The only mode you wouldn't play it in is Rainmaker. Rainmaker Reef is fucking awful. But like Rainmaker Reef has to be awful because it literally just forces the stage to be in the layout it doesn't like. But like you would have another 3 maps. That's why I'm hoping Reef happens. That's why I think Reef happening would be big. Because like pretend this is Reef for a second. And then pretend we get out of crab meta, and then you get like this. You could maybe include this. Sorry, I can't use Brian because Brian is CB. Pretend Wahoo is Reef, okay? Pretend Wahoo is Reef and we escape crab meta. Yay! This is like a map list we can do, right? Like, again, pretend this is Reef. This is not Wahoo World. That map is Reef. That's a real list. Is Ilto that awful? It's not totally awful, but yeah. I guess if crab meta is gone, maybe you could argue this. Maybe. Like, I guess if crab meta is gone, you could maybe say that. Maybe. Like, these would be weak. Like, I guess you could say that, and then this is still good. Like, but like, this is better because this, like, just putting in Reef makes this better. Like, just having another 3 maps in every mode is just so fucking good. Especially another Zones map, because Zones maps all suck ass. Like, the only good Zones map is Flounder in the entire game. Flounder is the only... Actually, sorry, not only Flounder. Mahi. Mahi and Flounder are the only good Zones maps in the fucking game. Museum is close, and Mako is close. Museum and... I mean, sorry, Mahi and Flounder are the only ones that are actually good enough, though. Eeltil's issue isn't the zone. Eeltil's issue is that the bridge, like, the fucking bridge is dumb. Yeah, also this is why I want a new mode. Partially. That would help too. If you're forcing me to play on Turf War, what would I play? Mahi, Flounder, Mako shit and Turf. Those 3. Yeah, Mahi's a good turf stage. I think Mahi might actually be the best Turf War stage. Maybe. Has Reap Bridge work, but Eeltils doesn't? Because, like, there's fucking the Reef Splatoon 2. The Reef Splatoon 2. Let's get a picture of this shit. Yeah, alright, cool. There. Okay, that's taken suspiciously. Oh, no, wait, there we go. It loads. Why is this huge? Why is it 500? Okay. Because, like, look at the bridge, but look at the other, like, look at the rest of the map. Beta, please do not do that. I already have to play the NA Open twice. Look, like, you can go here. You can go here. Sorry, you can go here. You can go here. You can go under the bridge. You can go over the bridge. You can go on the left of the bridge. You can go all the way over here. On other modes, you can go all the way over here. You can just fucking go everywhere. Like, the bridge is good, but you have, like, a billion other approach options. So, like, it's fine. On Reef, what the fuck do you do? This is a straight line in Reef. I mean, in, Eeltail. In this shit. Like, look at this. This is a straight fucking line. So, yeah. No, they reworked Reef in other modes, too. I Pearl destroyed it. Yeah, Pearl destroyed it when it was a wood bridge in the test fire. Which, cool lore, by the way. I'm fucking down for that shit. That bridge was worse. They made the bridge better. So that's a good reason for it. It's 2 straight lines. Yes, it's a fucking straight line on top of a straight line. Peak map. Yeah, and you know what the sad part is? I don't even have to compare this to Reef. Here. Do you know what we can compare Yield Cell to? That would beat it out? That isn't even Reef? Yeah, itself! What the fuck? You can climb this wall. This whole wall is climbable. You can go under this left side and walk up this ramp. You can go right and walk up this ramp. This is also inkable. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck happened? What the fuck happened? You have 4 routes plus the bridge. 1, high ground. 2, 3, 4. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna do the fucking super thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and if you think that's disgusting, just wait till you see Scorch. Beta Scorch was even better. It's even fucking here. Next wave. Yep. Where's the first trailer? There it is. God, this is terrible shots. And also that music is loud as fuck. Yeah, remember whenever I was saying how good Scorch looked? Yeah, look at the fucking map. It's not the same stage. This is a different stage. This is a different stage. Look at this. Look. No, we need that shot in full view. You guys need to see that shot firsthand. By the way, look at this. Paintable wall. Paintable wall. On both sides. See? Look. Ink. Inkable wall. There's an area down there. And then this whole thing is inkable. And even the side of this looks inkable, I think. Yeah, look! Even this whole part's also inkable! You could go up this. Like, this is a jump up here. You go from here and climb up. You can go on the left and climb up. You can go on the wall. Look at what they fucking took. This is also a route. Look at this. This is the small route. Like, you could not only climb this, you could also flank around this. What the fuck did they do? Look at this. Route, route, great route, left route. 4. 4 fucking routes. 4. 4. 4. Four fucking routes. Do you know how many routes each of them have now? Yieldtail has 2. Scorch has 1. No, sorry, Scorch has 2. One of them's just shit. They both have 2. They cut him in half. Do you know what else they had? They had inkable walls. They had inkable walls. You could paint the... They had this legendary idea where in Splatoon, a game about painting the floor, you could climb walls. This is really revolutionary, like, concept. You can paint the walls. Isn't that crazy, guys? Isn't that such a cool idea? They, like, let you paint the wall, and then you can, like, walk up the wall and move. Really fucking revolutionary, honestly. Anyway, they ditched that concept. Yo, Lucy, thank you for the Prime sub. I'm getting to the video, I promise. I'm literally wrapping up right now. But yeah. Pre-Prime sub. Yo, thank you, dude. Alright, that's it for me, though. I gotta dip. What's Kyo doing? What the hell is he doing? Okay, I don't think I can raid Kyo. We're gonna raid Squid School instead. Do not think I can raid Kyo-chan.